It's been very material and devastating for the economy, but also particularly for women. If you are a woman who's working and you have care responsibilities, homeschooling, older parents, intergenerational families, the workload's doubled or tripled. If you have a job that is additionally impacted by COVID, say a nurse or a frontline worker at a company, is additionally impacted. And of course, your own personal health. There are some populations that have had higher risk factors, as we've seen with some older populations or some ethnic minorities. And so it really has been extremely serious and net negative for women during COVID. The question for business is, how do we build back with more attention to inclusion for women, inclusion for underrepresented groups, and of course, more attention to the environment.
Vivian, also during the height of the pandemic, we've seen the rise of global action against racism and exclusion. How much of a turning point do you think that was across all the sectors around the world? And I'm thinking, of course, of the death of George Floyd back in May 2020.
I think at the time that George Floyd's death and the reaction to it really sparked a global reaction. Yes, at one level against racism, but I think more importantly towards positive steps towards inclusion and having companies no longer be neutral. As an individual or as a company, it was no longer good enough to just be neutral and meritocratic. You had to actively ensure that you had a equitable environment for your employees, that you had a strong point of view on some of these issues, that you were working through the hard yards, the difficult choices.
How far away do you think we are from closing the gap, from gender parity in pay for women in business?
The simultaneous crises that we've experienced in 2020 and really still recovering from in 21 have lots of green shoots and things that are positive. We've seen the realization of the diversity of the workforce and how important it is in terms of the types of work that people do and how their home situation interacts with how they present and are ready for work. More empathetic dialogue and care about mental health in addition to your physical ability to work. So we do have to find real positive lessons from this. And I include the acceleration of technology and digitization and how we work. So when it comes to gender participation, we've taken a step backwards with COVID. We believe that if we don't return to the levels we were before, even at January 2020 in the UK, earlier, if we look at Asia, if we don't return to those levels, we'll lose 1 trillion from the economy globally. So if we think about the gap between now and 2030, say, the economy will be $1 trillion smaller if women at minimum don't return to where they were and or go into higher paying and faster growth sectors. So we have to build back, and we have to build back better to get back on that growth trajectory and income support that so many families and of course women need.